Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Expanding Empires, Episode 6. I'm your host, Aaron. I'm a member of Team 6++. If you like this content, please comment, go to our channel, subscribe. There's other things such as our podcast, which is now live streamed every Tuesday at 8:30 UK time. We have Ed and the UKTC and me. We've got Davey with his bug watch, and we've got Tom with a mixture of gene stealer, naughtiness, and list doctoring as well. And if you like our stuff, please comment, help us get the algorithm going on this to get us to more viewers. But without further ado, I'm here to take you over the week's just gone best performing towel lists, and also a couple of different and interesting ones for the week ahead. So our first list is none other than Kyle Grundies. He was at Carnage Season 1 in the UK, 32-player event over 5 rounds. Kyle Grundy, he went 4-1 and ended up coming second, so very unlucky to not take the whole thing down. It was a compulsory type of heavy support and a Farsight Enclaves list. The HQs are a Cadre Fireblade with the Exemplar of the Cone, presuming this is just a Exemplar of the Cone monkey and just going to sit there on the back objective. Then we have Commander Farsight with his Warlord trait. And then a Commander in Cold Star with Precision of the Hunter, two airbursting fragmentation projectors, the Dominator fragmentation launcher, a high output burst cannon, and the Pure Tide Engram Neurochip, and 2 microdrones. I'm presuming that Carl's gone for the Pure Tide Engram Neurochip over not having a ethereal to farm those extra CPs, because they're looking like potentially some of the tactics that Carl's going to use is obviously CP heavy, as we're not seeing any of the more combat and offensive relics being used on the Commander and Cold Star. Following up that, we've got troops. We've got 2 breach teams. Really starting to see a lot more breach teams coming through, and I'm really starting to like them. Going to have to give them a go soon. Just the dynamism of them and being able to like put a bit more hurt at close range, I think, is quite interesting. And maybe trying to be more aggressive on the primary. In the elites, we've got one big blob of Crisis battlesuits. We have Crisis Shizu with burst cannon, cyclic iron blaster, plasma rifle, and a single shield generator. Then we have 3 more Crisis suits with burst cannon, cyclic iron, plasma, and target lock. And then we have the Shazray with cyclic iron blaster, burst cannon, the Iridium battlesuit, plasma rifle, a shield generator, and the stim injectors. And then to finish the blob off, we've got 2 marker drones and 3 shield drones. I'd like to know if Carl's actually using these coming in from Deep Strike or not, and maybe that's why he wants more CP for that drop zone clear stratagem. But yeah, it's nice to see it coming through, and this does seem to be the standard loadout we're seeing weapon-wise for them, with the burst, cyclic, and plasma. Mainly for a couple of longer range shots with plasma at the start, and then really coming aggressively forward and bringing those multiple shots to bear. In fast attack, we have the 2 standard units of Recruit Hounds, just to go out, get objectives, help with move blocking, etc., etc. We all know they're wonderful, and for 24 points a unit, how can you say no to them? In heavy support, we've got 2 Riptides identically laid out with double plasma, ion accelerator, multi-tracker, target lock, and velocity tracker. Again, I really like this layout, but I really like what Carl's done here, and has gone for a 3rd Riptide, again with a double plasma and the same multi-tracker, target lock, and velocity tracker, but this time with the burst cannon. Much more efficient into standard Marines, but then obviously the ion accelerator ones are much better into the what we're seeing is, which a lot of the Deathwing Terminators, etc., being able to go to damage 4 on them, etc., put them on their buns is a nice way to go into that. And then finishing it off, we've got 2 Devilfish dedicated transports for the breach teams. Keeps them safe, especially in the guard meta at the moment with a lot of out of line shooting. So a very real well-rounded list. It's the first time we've seen Carl out at the tournament attendance this season, really. So well done to Carl for getting second and 4-1. It's nice to see that even though it's been a bit rough, we're starting to get some lists together that can actually function against it. Still not entirely sure the best way to go against Dark Angels, the Mass Terminators, because it is just a tricky one for us to go into. Next up, we've got Patrick Owens, who was at Drop Zone Game Central Island Open in the US. It was a 39-player event over 5 rounds, and Patrick done very well, went 4-1, and due to dropping a couple of points in secondaries, etc., ended up 6th, but an amazing accomplishment nonetheless. Patrick has gone for a compulsory type of fast attack in Tau Sept. In the HQs, we've got a commander in Cold Star Battlesuit with effective maneuvering thrusters, which means when he gets charged, he can move away and they can redirect their charge elsewhere. We then have Precision Hunter, and we have an air bursting fragmentation projector, a burst cannon, a high outburst cannon, and then the thermoneutronic projector. So this is more of our standard sort of Cold Star commander that we see. Then we have a commander in Crisis Battlesuit with Exemplar of the Montcar, the Advanced Burst Cannon, a Missile Pod, Plasma Rifle, and then 2 marker drones as well. It's been interesting where I've seen a lot more lists without the Crisis Battlesuit, but I love them, and it's good to see it here as well. It's a good loadout for it. It can stay back and just provide a bit more support and hang around with the Crisis suits. We then have an Ethereal with Exemplar of the Cayenne, and then Sense of Stone and Wisdom of the Guides for the Feel No Pain and the CP. And then he's sat on a hover drone and has the Humble Stave to make sure it all goes off on a 2-up, and then 2 marker drones as well. Following that, we have Long Strike. He's been upgraded with 2 accelerated burst cannons and a single Seeker missile. One of the things in this list that I haven't seen a lot of recently, which I've been battling with trying to figure out the right balance of, is there's a lot more marker drones flying around, which is quite cool. It's on some of the more passive characters, but again, it's still great to see it, and Long Strike being able to hand out the +1 to hit as well is always good. In troops, we've just got a single breach team, and then elites, we've got a blob of Crisis Battlesuits. We've got 4 of them, all equipped with burst cannon, cyclic ion blast from plasma rifle and target locks, and then the Shazray has the same loadout but an Iridium Battlesuit, shield generator, and you've guessed it, stim injectors. And then this unit has 3 shield drones on it. Intrigued as to potentially maybe you might want to put 1 or 2 of the marker drones on that unit, but they still work where they are in the ethereal. But sometimes I like to not have to expose my character to a potential angle if I don't have to, which is what's quite nice to at least maybe have the one of the marker drones on that Crisis Battlesuit blob. We then have our famous 3x4 Crew Hounds. There's no denying how good these things are. They're showing up in every list that does well, and most of the lists that we look at going for the week ahead. In heavy support, we've got 2 Riptide Battlesuits, both with the double plasma cyclic ion accelerator, and the multi-tracker, target lock, and velocity tracker. I mean, this is the standard layout, and it's what I use on mine. God knows how I always forget the multi-tracker extra hits, though. It's so rare does it actually come up. I do tend to forget it, so I'm not sure how you lot do you put a marker down or something, or a little note against it when you go for it, because I always seem to forget that one. So any help there would be very good. Then we have still appearing, not as many numbers as before, but another flyer. We've got the Sunshark Bomber. It's just such an efficient piece, and I do really like it. It also seems like when you've got quite a large footprint with some of the models that you want to hide, etc., it's quite nice to be able to put an asset off the board that has to come in a couple of turns later. I still like them. I'm still running them, and it's good to see it here on a list that's done well. And then finally, we've got a dedicated transport for the breaches to go in. It definitely feels like you have to do this now with all the indirect shooting that's going on. I haven't taken the Tau out for a run recently, because I normally run strike teams that are just sitting there, obviously in cover, but essentially in the open as far as guard, etc. concerned. So it feels like something I might have to lean towards to help protect them. Otherwise, they're just going to get absolutely annihilated or have to be started off the board. Look, Patrick, well done. 4-1 and 6th is an amazing achievement, especially in the very killer meta we go into nowadays. But again, it's nice to see that we've got 2 lists that are both different sets of units coming out, different approach being taken, and they both managed to go 4-1 and almost take down an event. So well done to both of you. In the lists we've got coming up in the weekend ahead, the first one I've got for you here is Aaron Jeffrey, who's at Courage and Honour 8 in the UK, and that is 33 players over 5 rounds. Aaron has gone for compulsory type of troops and the sept choice of Tau Sept. This is quite a cool one. I'm really looking forward to see how this one does. In the HQ slots, we've got a Commander and Crisis Battlesuit with Precision of the Hunter, 2 Cyclic Iron Blasters, 2 Fusion Blasters, and the Omega Gauntlet, and then 2 Marker Drones. This is going to hit really hard when it gets up close. Slightly surprised not to see the Flamer in there as well, but it's still absolutely awesome. It's going to come in, it's going to punch hard into armor and shooting and in combat. We then have Long Strike with his double accelerated burst cannons and his through boldness victory warlord trait. No seeker missiles on him this time, but look, he's just great, isn't he? We always love a hammerhead that hits on a 3+ without anything else. In troops, we have 3 strike teams. Again, these are unprotected. I wonder if these are going to start off the board to try and do aerospace relays, etc. But potentially quite vulnerable with all the mortars and some of the increasing of the ordnance batteries we're seeing at the moment. Then in fast attack, we've got a rarity, one we don't see very often, which is just 5 marker drones. And then following that up in heavy support, and so we start to get interesting, we've got 3 hammerheads, all with accelerated burst guns and railguns. And here we are, the piece of the resistance, the Lord of Wars. We've got 2 storm surges sat here. They're armed with the early warning override, pulse blast cannon, twin bursting fragmentation projectors, and a velocity tracker. These were massive when the book first dropped. They died off quite quickly. We have not seen them for a long time, well, I haven't anyway. But what an amazing army this is going to be to see deployed on the table across from you. Just all of this armor down on there. It's going to be really cool. And I'd love to see how Aaron gets on with this, because I always like when you see some of the different models being taken and just such beautiful models that the Storm Surges are. So good luck to you, Aaron. I wish you all the best and be interested to see how you get on. Our final list for the week is Albert Stevens, who is at All Is Dust GT in Canada. It's 62 players over 6 rounds. The compulsory type is heavy support, and the sept choice is Farsight Enclaves. In the HQ slots, we've got Cadge Fireblade, which is playing the Exemplar of the Cone Monkey role. And then we have Commander Farsight with Exemplar of the Montcar. We have a Commander in Cold Star Battlesuit with Precision of the Hunter, the DW02 Advanced Burst Cannon, the High Output Burst Cannon, the Omega Gauntlet, a Plasma Rifle, and then a Shield Generator and Target Lock. So it's nice to see he's got the punch in combat off of the Commander, but then that's really going in and leaning into the multiple shots and Precision of the Hunter there. So it's pretty cool to see. And then a little bit of the Omega Gauntlet for a final punch into some of the larger, more elite targets. In troops, we've got a single strike team. Elites is where it's all chunked out a bit. We've got a unit of 3 stealth suits with a homing beacon, all armed with burst cannons. Then we've got a blob of crisis suits. The first one is a unit of 3. And we've got one with a Flamer, Cyclic Iron Blaster, Plasma, and Shield Generator. Another with Flamer, Cyclic Iron Blaster, Early Warning Override, and a Plasma Rifle. And then the Shazray's got a Tau Flamer, Cyclic Iron Blaster, Plasma Rifle, Shield Generator, and the Stim Injectors. Quite different to see that, the Stim Injectors and all that protection on a unit of 3, but it's always nice to have a more durable unit that you can put out if needed and can take a bit more punishment. In the second group of Crisis, we've got another unit of 3. We've got 2 that are equipped with Cyclic Iron Blasters, Plasma Rifles, Shield Generators, and Flamers. And then the Shazray's got the Cyclic Iron Blaster, Plasma Rifle, Shield Generator, and a Flamer, which has been upgraded to the Thermoneutronic Projector. I'm not sure how personally I feel about this. I wonder what the reasons Albert's gone for this on the Shazray in a unit instead of putting it onto the Commander with the Precision of the Hunter. Because yes, it's got a Flamer, it's cool, it does a bit more damage, but it's the combat bit where it's really sort of missing out, because in combat it's only going to be hitting on a 5. It doesn't matter if it gets loaded of attacks, it's still only going to be hitting on 5. So it seems to new to the output potential, but I guess again, look, it gives them a potential outlook to getting out of a sticky situation. But so a very interesting take, I feel, and be cool to see how it gets on. In fast attack, we've got a single Pathfinder team. We've got 6 standard Pathfinders set up with the pulse carbines and markerites, and then the Shizou with the same. And then we've got 3 Pathfinders with the rail rifles. And then there is a marker drain attached to the unit. We're seeing this more and more. It's a great way to get multiple Pathfinder markerites put out, and with the strat allowing you to do it on 2s and move again back into safety. And then you've also got the ability with the rail rifles to put that extra bit of damage in as well, which is always nice to have. In heavy support, we've got a single broadside, which is equipped with a rail rifle, seeker missile, and then stabilized optics for not getting any negatives for to shoot when you move. And then we've got 2 hammerhead gunships with rail guns and a single seeker missile, and then 2 Riptide battle suits with double plasma rifle, early warning override, ion accelerators, target locks, and velocity trackers. So again, like, this is another really cool list. There's like different nuances within it. Like, I've not seen this. It's done double 3-man units of Crisis before, and then the lean into the heavy on the side as well. I suppose it sort of opens up the abilities and options you've got in the army, where you're taking up so much in your heavy support. Maybe it seems quite cool to minimize the footprint with taking the smaller units of Crisis and maybe being able to put them in deep strike a bit better. But another interesting week. We're definitely starting to see not more better. That's not great, is it? Better results coming out for Tau overall, but there seems to be lots of different ways that can be taken to achieve that. Congratulations again to our top performing lists this week, and also good luck to our ones that we've highlighted for the week ahead. Please, as I said before, if there's anything you'd like to try and work on, please leave some comments, help us out with the algorithms, and I'm always interested to see what you think and try and make this better for you all. So without further ado, I'll wish you all goodbye and see you all next week.